Yeah, Todd, these last two preseason games, are you looking at almost a full lineup of just to get ready for the start?
Yes and no. We still got some decisions to be made, so I can't tell you that the lineup well, I can tell you the lineup we throw on the ice tonight probably isn't going to be our starting lineup. We're still looking at some people. We're going to address 11 and 7 tonight, so there'll be 7 defensemen that get opportunity to play, and may open up some ice time for some of the forwards we're looking at as well. And then when we come home for the game on Saturday, we'll take a look at the lineup. That may be closer to what our opening night would look like.
And Bernard Docker didn't skate.
He did. He skated with the other group earlier, and don't read into that at all. It's just we needed to balance out some numbers. He'll come back with our group tomorrow.
How have you seen Sandin Pellikka kind of progress as this preseason and camp have gone along?
I think Ross has improved as camp's gone on. Better and better each night, each game. Practice, it looks like he's feeling a little more confident and comfortable. Whether it's with us as a coaching staff, his teammates, the level of play, the size of the ice surface, strength and pace he's been able to adjust to. So I would say he's getting better each and every day.
And with so many veterans, how do you kind of balance the temptation of, if he plays well, wanting to give him that opportunity versus, knowing what he could benefit from playing?
Well, we have to look at two things. We have to look at, and if we leave acts out of it, just generally speaking, who can help this team on opening night, but also maintain that and continue it through 82 games. We got to look at the roster construction, the number of roster spots that we have, where we want to be maybe a little deeper, whether it's with the forwards or on the blue line, and and then look at a few of the other elements, who fits with who. So a lot goes into fielding the opening day roster, if you will. Not everybody's going to play because 23 can't. But then it becomes fluid. Things can change real quick, and I'm sure it will. It always does.
For a lot of the younger guys that haven't had the experience on the North American sheet, how have you seen their learning curve throughout the preseasons and where you thought it was going to be as they progress? Is it more steeper, longer? I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
Different adjustment periods for each, and I think it's positional too. Like the forwards tend to have people closing on them in the offensive zone, so you got to adjust to your time and your range there. For defensemen, you're closing on forwards in the defensive zone, so you got to figure that out. It's not just the size of the rink; it's how players use that rink side with quick give and goes, pace of play. Sometimes the younger players don't know. I take Foligno the other night, maybe with Lagesson, and Lag's been around a little bit, but just his shimmy shake move, how he shuffled him off, he had to take a penalty on it. That's knowing maybe some tendencies of players. Obviously, everybody knows Connor McDavid and his speed, but there's other players that have tendencies, and as you go through the league, you can figure guys out a little bit. Pitching probably in baseball is very similar. Tough to face him the first time, but 2 or 3 times in, you know what he's got and what his tendencies are, and I think our guys are trying to figure that out a little bit.
I know Simon will need a few games to get up to speed, or maybe more, but what do you see in him when he's at his best?
Range, he's such a good skater and long. So range and long, he's got a smart assertiveness to him. It's not just random, let's go. A really smart, aggressive player with and without the puck. So the physicality is there, but with the puck he can log it and limber it, or haul it up the ice, and shot. If his feet are working right and everything's going well, he can put himself into position where he can use a pretty heavy shot. And we saw last year, for the most part, he's willing to use it. So, those are the individual skills. Team skills, he should be able to fit in everywhere. He should understand the structure and be able to play special teams in all the situations. But as you said, it's going to take a little bit to get him back up to par.
On the subject of special teams, I know you use Gustafsson right now on that second power play, but is Simon somebody who down the road could fill that role?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I think we have players coming too that could fill that role. Nothing's set in stone. There's players that have played there before and have done a really good job, whether that's Gus or whoever. But sometimes a change, or maybe even going to 2 defensemen on a power play unit, if you have the luxury of that, then you look at that. But we're just trying to find some common ground with our special teams right now, get everything back before we jump to maybe a new phase.
Just switching to a different line. You've had Marco, Patrick Kane, and Alex DeBrincat. That's been your one line since camp began. What is it about that line you like, and how much is Marco the key? Because Alex and Patrick know how to play with one another, but Marco is really.
Yeah, I think you kind of answered your question with Kane and Kat. They're very familiar with each other. In the garbage type moment, they kind of understand where each other might be and can make something out of nothing. Casp, when he got there, I thought he was a driver on that line as far as getting to the net, to the blue paint, to loosening pucks up on the forecheck, playing down low as a reliable centerman. Just all around driver on that line, and I think he complements them fairly well. We hope we have a real good line there. I believe we do, but the production or lack of production, I hope it's not that case, is going to dictate how far we continue with it.
It's obviously a very high draft pick, but is it still pretty impressive how well he holds his own at such a young age?
Casp?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You guys have all dealt with him and talked to him. It doesn't seem like you're talking to a 20-year-old or 21-year-old. He seems a little bit older, more mature, and his play reflects that as well. All good? Okay, thanks.